The comedians now are out there, and this is why I always complain about the comedians. I know I bang on this a little bit, but like the comedians are all anti-Trump. They're all anti-right. They're all anti-Republican. They're all Democrats. That's what they are. And they're kind of leftist Democrats because comedians, they don't know anything. They're just making jokes. So here they are. They're all jumping on the bandwagon. Every single comedy, every single late night comedian, if you turn on the TV, you are going to be insulted. You are going to be called an idiot. That's what happens on television. They can't understand why we should send Trump to fight back. They can't understand that. But every single comedian comes on and calls the 70 plus million people who voted for Trump an idiot every single night on every single network. Here they are attacking people for challenging the results of this election. Cut 2.
Bad news first. The president is actively working to undermine our democracy, usurp the will of the people, and hold on to power in violation of our Constitution. Good news, he's really bad at it.
Look, it's very likely this dumbass coup attempt by Trump and his gang of weirdo, lopsided goons, or as I'm calling them, the kooky cuckoo crew, will succeed. But it's alarming enough that they're trying. And we are finding out right now who in the Republican Party would be willing to go along with an actual coup attempt in the future if, say, an election was much closer, or if they had another chance to accept criminal interference from a foreign country, or if Rudy Giuliani tried to break into a ballot machine to change votes for Trump only to realize it's a pinball machine at a pizzeria in Yonkers. Boss, great news. I got you 500 more votes and an extra ball.
So that's a call to blacklist Republicans on the comedy shows. I just want to go back, though, to the last election. I think this is actually 2019 election. This is John Oliver, who does that the premium cable show, news show, and he's an old Daily Show veteran and all this stuff. Now he's worried. He was worried back then about voting machines himself. This is cut 3.
Maybe worth asking, how much do you trust the system that counts your ballots? Because the truth is, many of us don't know the first thing about how our votes get counted.
When you cast your ballot, how do you know that they're getting it right?
That they're getting it right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, isn't that their job to get it right?
There's no such thing as being dead sure, but I think I'm quite sure.
Look, I honestly get the point the interviewer's trying to make, but he is coming on pretty strong there. How are you so sure they got your vote right? Is it because you're a stupid child in a dumb adult's body? Is it because you were born yesterday in a voting booth and the first thing you did was vote like a newborn idiot? Then how do you know they got your vote right? But look.
So then you were an idiot. Then you were an idiot if you trusted the election process. Now you're an idiot and a Nazi, basically, if you don't trust it. People can see this stuff. They have eyes. Like I said, there's probably 30% of the country that sits around going, yeah, the Republicans, they're dumb and I'm smart. Okay, good for them. They're going to always have that number of people. But other people can see this stuff, and we expose it, and people are listening. And, this is the thing. That's what I'm trying to say. The people are listening, and you can expose it. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be unkind. You don't have to be brash. You don't have to get into people's faces. You just have to tell the quiet, simple truth. That's all you have to do. Here's the Democrats on Donald Trump after he got elected. This is cut 7.
The election was tainted by this intrusion.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You do not consider him a legitimate president?
Does he think that Democrats should put this away, this whole idea of legitimate, illegitimate?
The president's not going to get in the middle of this right now.
I get it, but you didn't answer the question. Yeah. Is Donald Trump legitimate?
I think there's a cloud of questions around what happened and his ties to Russia.
There could be clouds of questions, and we disagree on things, but honestly, yes or no, is he the legitimately elected president of the United States when he raises his hand?
We're counting on our law enforcement community to get to the bottom of these questions. He also won't.
Do you agree with John Lewis? Do you agree that Donald Trump is, in effect, not a legitimate president?
I think that there's no question that the process that elected him was not legitimate.
You agree with John Lewis on what point?
That the president-elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
just to compare it, here's the media now covering this election, cut 8.
Sore loser? President Trump casting doubt on the legitimacy of the election with no evidence.
I see no evidence of voter fraud.
There have been no irregularities.
Bogus allegations of voting irregularities.
There's no evidence.
No evidence whatsoever.
There is no evidence. This is a fantasy.
What I love about it, too, is the totality of it. You know, as I said yesterday, there's 150 million people voting. There are going to be thousands of cases of fraud, tens of thousands, 150 million people voting. There's going to be thousands and thousands of cases of fraud. And there's plenty of evidence, there's plenty of proof. There's plenty of proof of fraud. You know, that's it's the totality, the way they're saying it tells you how worried they are about it's being exposed. I mean, it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And I think people don't believe it. I really do. I think people don't believe it. They're desperate to sell this stuff. And, you know, even the idea that suddenly we're hearing from the media, oh, Trump was right about certain things. Trump did a good job with Operation Warp Speed to get these vaccines out, these magazines out. You know why they do that? They do that so that now they can say, now that the election's over, now that they feel they've won, now they can say, oh, look how fair we are. Here, look, I'll go back. You can see how fair now we gave Trump credit. We gave Trump credit where credit was due. It was only the 4 years where we said he was a Russian spy who was murdering 200,000 Americans. Yeah, then we said that. But now we're saying, oh, but, you know, he was right about certain things like Middle East peace and vaccines and don't close the schools and just about everything else he did. You know, and yeah, so he was right about those things. But he was a murderous Russian spy. And we just brought that up then. And now we're bringing up this. People see this stuff, guys, and they see it, and it's not going to fool a lot of people. It's going to fool some of the people some of the time, but it ain't going to fool all of the people all of the time. Before you go, one last thing. Hit the subscribe button so that you stay up to date on all our content.